Yeah, so we are going live on YouTube also. Slow. Okay, so now we are live on YouTube. Okay. Hare Krishna. Got it. So Arjuna Vacha Kintam Kintat Brahma Kim Adhyatmana Kim Karma Purushottama Adi Bhutam Cha Kim Proktam Adi Daivam Kim Uchchate. So this is very amazing verse. This verse, the translation of it destroys the Mayavad philosophy, left, right, and center. Arjun inquired, "O my Lord, O Supreme Person, Purushottama, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is his material manifestation? What are the demigods?" Demigods का क्या word है? Adi Devam. Please explain this to me. So very interesting. Arjun is differentiating between many things here. What is differentiating between? Can anyone tell? First of all, he's calling Krishna Purushottama. Purushottama means Uttam. Purush Uttam means the topmost person, the most top person, or the supreme person. Is calling Krishna the supreme person. Then he's asking, what is Brahman? Interesting. So Brahman has three meanings. What are three meanings of Brahman? Brahman can mean Krishna, God. Brahman can mean the self, soul. And Brahman can mean the energy of the Lord, the Brahma Jyoti, energy of the Lord. Three meanings. So यहाँ पे क्या कौन सा meaning applicable होगा? He's already called Krishna supreme person, Purushottam. So that means he's not referring to Krishna. And then he's already calling the self Adhyatma, Atmana, Adhya Atmana. That is the self, the soul. So it doesn't mean the soul. So what does the Brahman mean here? What does Brahman mean here? Brahma Jyoti, energy of the Lord. Obviously, not the Brahma Jyoti, the energy of the Lord, which is manifested as the Brahma Jyoti. So, yeah. So Brahman, and also he's differentiating between Adi Daivam and Purushottam and Brahman. What is differentiating between? समझ में आया? Adi Daivam, Purushottam and Brahman. So in this verse is a unique verse which describes Vishnu Tattva, Supreme, Purushottam, then Shakti Tattva, Brahman, energy of the Lord, then Jiva Tattva, self, and then Adi Daivam. What is Adi Daivam? In general, for outer, it is demigod, but for the real, what is Adi Devam? Shiva Tattva. Yes, Shiva Tattva. Jiva Tattva is already there. All the demigods are in Jiva Tattva only. So this is a unique verse which describes all the four tattvas: Vishnu Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva, and Shiva Tattva. So here Arjuna is asking, what does this mean? What does this mean? This, first of all, it means that everyone is not God. Right or wrong? Otherwise, why Arjuna is differentiating, and why Vedvyas is putting it in the shloka, and why Krishna is going to answer it. So this means all the even if you take Adi Devam as demigods, so demigod and God, Brahman and Purushottam, they are three different entities. So everyone is not God. This shloka defeats that. That in Hinduism and everything we think that everyone is one, everyone is God. This is also God, that is also God, everything is God. But this shloka by asking this shloka, and Krishna by answering it. Krishna answers in detail. What is Brahman, what is Jiva, self, what are demigods, everything he answers in detail. So if everyone is same, why, Arjuna is asking this question, why Vedvyas is putting this, and why Krishna is answering it differently. So what does this show? That all the tattvas are different actually. They are not the same. First this. The second is how it defeats the Mayavad philosophy. How it defeats the Mayavad philosophy. Who can tell? How it defeats it, how it defeats the oneness philosophy, the Mayavad, the Advaita philosophy. How this shloka defeats the Advaita philosophy. All tattvas are differentiated. So if Brahman and self, about the same thing, then Arjun would have used the same word, Brahman. Everyone is one man, Brahman only. But Arjun uses Brahman for the energy, supreme energy of the Lord. He uses Adhyatman for the soul, the self, and he used Purushottama for Krishna. So here, he is already, telling us that these three are two different personalities. There is no oneness here. There is no oneness here. Those who think that, everything is one, this shloka, Kim Tat Brahma, Kim Adhyatman. So if Brahman and Adhyatma were one, then would ask, what is Brahman? What is the self? Then Kim Karma Purushottama. Okay, I'll unmute all now. Yeah. So, this clearly says that, Kim Tat Brahma. What is Brahman? Means what is the truth, that absolute truth. What is that? Then Adhyatmana. What is self? Soul. So soul and Brahman, two different entities. Kim Karma. Karma means fruitive activities, obviously. Purushottama. Oh Krishna, Purushottama. Means Krishna is different from Purushottama, from Brahman. Krishna is different from, but that's why Krishna is called Parabrahman. Parabrahma Pradham. Then what is Brahman? What is Brahman then? If Krishna is Parabrahman, then what is Brahman? Soul is Adhyatmana. What is Brahman? Yes, soul. When there is no other word for the soul, then you take Brahman as the soul. When there is no other word for God, then you take Brahman as God also. But ये श्लोक में तीनों वर्ड का ब्रह्म में परमात्मा भगवान तीनों वर्ड को अलग अलग डिफाइन किया है. पुरुषोत्तमा को कृष्णा के लिए डिफाइन किया है, आध्यात्म को सेल्फ के लिए, एंड ब्रह्म को किसने डिसाइड किया है? ब्रह्म ज्योति, एनर्जी ऑफ द लॉर्ड. So what is the difference between Purushottama and Brahman? Krishna is Parabrahm. And who is the energy of the Lord? Who is the energy of the Lord? Srimati Radha Rani. So here Arjuna is asking, what Arjuna is asking? Kim Tad Brahma. What does this mean? He is asking, who is Srimati Radha Rani? What is the energy? Please describe me your energy. Because the soul will only be able to go back home, back to Godhead, because इसके बाद में है. Fourth श्लोका कौन सा है? Fourth श्लोका है fifth श्लोका. यम यम वापि स्मरणम. उसके पहले अंत काले च माम एवं. At the time of death, where will you go? What will you remember? Then you'll go lead that. So I was asking that, how will I reach you? Because I have to reach you through Brahman only, the energy. And what is, please describe it to me, that energy of yours. Only then I can think about that at the time of death, and I can come there, back to Godhead. So very interesting. That is the Shakti Tattva. This Brahman is Shakti Tattva, Radharani. The Shaktis of Krishna are described in the Brahman. Obviously, it means Sambesh, Sandani, Aladani, Tino Shakti. Even Balram, for this is for all the, what do you say, all the rasas. If you're in Sakhya Ras, you can take this Brahman as Balaram. If you're in Madhurya Ras, you can take this Brahman as Srimati Radharani, the energy of the Lord. This is the energy of the Lord. So energy of the Lord is comprised of three things, three entities: Samved, Sandani, Aladini. Samved and Sandani and Aladini. So Aladini is the present potency. Sandani is the existing potency, and Samved is the knowledge potency. So all the three, whichever rasa you are, basically Dasya, Shanta, Dasya, are and Sakhya. They identify with this Brahman as obviously Balram, energy of the Lord. And those who are in Madhurya, they identify with Srimati Radharani, and those who are in Vatsalya, they will identify with this with Yog Maya or Yashoda Maya, the energy of the Lord. She's also the energy of the Lord. So they will identify. So this is how, that's why a clear distinction has been made between Shakti Tattva and Jiva Tattva. Jiva Tattva has to serve the Shakti, the Brahman, to reach Para Brahman, Purushottam. So Jiva Tattva, the self, has to serve Brahman, Shakti Tattva, to reach Para Brahman, Purushottam, Krishna. Without that, it is not possible. That's why Krishna says, Devi Aishikun my Mama Dvatya, Yata Mam Prapadante Maya Tetam Taran. If you surrender, then my Maya. So the surrender is required. Without surrender, the material nature will not leave you, and you will not come under spiritual nature. You will not come under spiritual nature. And that's why Krishna in the second shloka very interestingly says, not the second, the third, actually the third shloka, the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and its eternal nature is called the self. You understanding this meaning of this? Shri Bhagwan Vacha, Aksharam Brahma Paramam Sabhabhyo Adhyatma Uchate Bhuta Bhavud Bhava Karo Vishagra Karma Sabjitam. Means the Supreme Lord said this Brahman is indestructible. Transcendental living entity is called Brahman. Transcendental living entity means what? What is transcendental living entity? What is transcendental living entity? And what is and his eternal nature is called the self. So यहाँ पे क्या है दो? The indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal self is, and his eternal nature is called the self. What is here? Think. इसके लिए आपको ब्रह्म संहिता में जाना पड़ेगा. ब्रह्म संहिता में एक श्लोक है. ब्रह्म संहिता में एक श्लोक है. कौन सा श्लोक है? That describes the qualities of Lakshmi's, which take the form, different form. Radharani's qualities, they take the different form. What is that? Lakshmi Sahasra Sadham. So what is the meaning of this? And उसके बाद में एक और श्लोक है. नहीं मिला किसी को श्लोक. What is that श्लोक? Where it says that each qualities of Srimati Radharani takes a form. Yeah. There are 1,000 goddesses of fortune, and each form, each quality of Srimati Radharani takes one form. And that form expands further. So this, and his eternal nature is called self. So her eternal nature means her qualities, Brahman's qualities. What are those qualities? Different qualities. The 64 qualities, skills of Srimati Radharani, and the 25 qualities of Srimati Radharani. They take one form, and they expand into Jiva Tattvas. So that Jiva Tattva, is Jiva Tattva, is the self that we are. Who are we? The Jiva Tattvas. And the supreme transcendental living entity. The supreme transcendental means not the living entity, the transcendental living entity, indestructible transcendental living entity. So what is indestructible? Energy is indestructible. Energy is indestructible. And that living entity which is transcendental, that is Brahman. Understanding? आया समझ में? नहीं आया समझ में? Okay. Can anyone put the Brahma Samhita shloka in the screen share? The shloka which says Srimati Radharani's qualities, they take the form. Actually, we can put this shloka also. If you can put this shloka also, the first shloka. Arjuna Vacha Kim Tat Brahma. If someone can put the shloka. Samarth, you are there. Someone is there. Now we have, this facility, so we should use it. Yeah. So this is there. Kim tad brahma, kim adhyatma, kim karma purushottama adi bhutam cha kim proktam advaitam kim uchyate. So, oh Lord, oh Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is that? The Supreme Energy. Because, like I explained, Krishna is already called Supreme Brahman. So Krishna cannot be Brahman. What is the self? Means who we are. Then when we come into material manifestation, Adi Bhutam. Adi Bhutam is for material creation. So what is the material creation? Why does this happen? Why does the creation takes place? And obviously when the self enters the material creation, then what happens? Then it gets bound into fruitive activities, karma. So, kim karma? Karma, it is said, karma. And then what are the demigods? Adi Devam. So, in this, Vishnu Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva, and Shiva Tattva, all four tattvas are explained in this. So how does we enter into the material creation? Why do we enter into the material creation? What is material creation? Krishna described that material creation is my, this universe is my cosmic form. This is my cosmic form. This material world is my cosmic form. So what is everything, the entire material creation is inside the cosmic form of Krishna. And what is that cosmic form? What is that cosmic form? What is that cosmic form? Virat Roop. Okay, Virat Roop. So what is that Virat Roop? What is that Virat root? From where does all the material creation comes? From where does all the material creation comes? No, not super. So Mahavishnu. Yes, Mahavishnu. So the entire creation is in the cosmic form of this Mahavishnu, lying in Mahavishnu. So what is material manifestation? It is just the play of Mahavishnu. When Mahavishnu, this Pradhan is lying in an unmanifested form. All the material ingredients are lying there. जैसे होता है ना, किचन में जाते हैं तो किचन में क्या क्या होता है? मिर्ची पड़ी होती है, सॉल्ट पड़ा होता है, धनिया पुदीना ये सब पड़ा होता है ना. उसके बाद में क्या करते हैं? सबको असेंबल करते हैं एक साथ में, राइट. अब खाना बनाने जाते हो तो क्या वेजिटेबल लेके आओगे, काटोगे, सब करोगे, असेंबल करोगे, फिर उसको कढ़ाई में डालोगे ना, सब कढ़ाई में डालोगे, कढ़ाई में आप नमक डालोगे, ये डालोगे, वो डालोगे, सब डालोगे, तो वो क्या हो गया? महातत्व. प्रधान से महातत्व. प्रधान इज जस्ट लाइन. महातत्व मीन्स टाइम फैक्टर जब ऐड कर देते हैं उसमें, टाइम फैक्टर जब ऐड होता है. So Mahatattva, Pradhan is just the unmanifested. Then Mahatattva is like assembling all the ingredients together. And then what does Mahavishnu does? गैस चालू होता है, राइट. तो में क्या होता है? गैस चालू होता है. गैस चालू करते हो किचन में? हाँ, खाना पकाने के लिए करते हो, गैस चालू करते हो. गैस क्या होता है? फायर. So you never did, but you have no brains. You have brains or no, Nandan? You never did, but you have brains. You have seen anyone cooking or no? So then what never did? Don't you see fire is on in the kitchen? Or you don't see, you have no, intelligence to see that also. Very good. This is Zoom, यहाँ पे your Nautanki will not run. Okay, you get thrashing. So fire. So what is that fire? The glance of Mahavishnu. The glance of Mahavishnu agitates the Mahatattva when the time factor is added to it. Time factor वो होता है जो छोका डालते हैं ना, छोका होता है ना. हम कुछ बनाते हैं, दाल वाल बनाओ तो उसमें किसका छोका डालते हैं? हल्दी, पानी में हल्दी जीरा, इसको छोका डालते हैं ऊपर से. तो दैट इज द टाइम फैक्टर. टाइम फैक्टर इज एडेड टू इट. एंड देन गैस चालू होती है. महातत्व इज द मटेरियल एनर्जी प्लस द टाइम फैक्टर. दैट इज महातत्व. प्रधान इज नो टाइम फैक्टर इन्वॉल्व, है ना. सो जैसे होता है ना, कुकिंग में 12 बज गई तो कुकिंग चालू, टाइम फैक्टर आ गया, है ना. खाना भूख लग रही सबको तो टाइम फैक्टर, 12 बजे के पहले क्या होता है? सारे इंग्रेडिएंट्स पड़े हैं लेकिन कोई कुकिंग नहीं चल रही है किचन में क्योंकि किसी को भूख नहीं लग रही है. जैसे टाइम आ गया, टिंग टिंग 12 बजने वाली है, मतलब 1 बजे सबको खाना खाना है. टाइम फैक्टर, टाइम याद आ गया सबको, अरे हमारा भूख खाना खाने का टाइम हो गया, राइट. So this time factor enters. So as the time factor enters Pradhan, it becomes Mahatattva. Means activity चालू हो जाती है. फिर mixing की इसकी activity चालू है. 3 modes of nature, all the material ingredients like earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intent, ego, added with the 3 modes of material nature. जो कुछ धनिया वनिया डालना है सब, प्लस तड़का लगाना, तड़का तड़का लगाते हैं हम जीरे का और हल्दी का मिक्सचर का तड़का लगाते हैं, मिर्ची का हल्दी मिर्च का. सो तड़का मीन्स टाइम फैक्टर. एंड देन द फाइनल इज गैस चालू करना, क्योंकि सब लगा दोगे लेकिन गैस नहीं चालू करोगे तो क्या होगा? सब कुछ डाल दोगे, धनिया वनिया हर चीज, तड़का वड़का, बट गैस नहीं चालू करोगे तो क्या होगा? If there is no gas, then what will happen? Cooking will not take place. Means कुछ बन के नहीं आएगा, भूखे रहोगे जिंदगी भर, right? So Mahavishnu's glance is required. Mahavishnu's glance. So Mahavishnu's glance means agitation. देखिए कुकिंग में कैसे पानी जब होता है तो पानी evaporate हो जाता है, और there's agitation in the cooking when you see in the gas. Similarly, Mahavishnu's glance, which is also called the Big Bang, छिट 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 आवाज आती है ना कुकिंग करते हैं. So that is how Mahavishnu's glance enters, agitates the Mahatattva, and then it starts producing various forms, various 84 lakh species of they mix each and earth, water, fire and ether, mind, intelligence, ego. Mind and ego क्या है? आपके impressions है, आपके impressions जो आपको चाहिए, whatever you think you get that, कृष्णा बोलते हैं. So जिस प्रकार के आपके जो soul है, that is lying in the body of Mahavishnu. So that is put into the material energy through his glance is put. So what is that soul? Soul का वो कौन से soul होते हैं, lying होते हैं, जो last kalpa में they have not become perfected. So they are lying lying in a sleeping state in the body of Mahavishnu. So they are glanced into the Mahatattva by the glance of Mahavishnu. They are glanced. So जो होते हैं तो उनके impressions होते हैं, mind, intelligence, ego, उसमें स्टोर होता है. इट्स लाइक अ ब्लैक बॉक्स, जो लास्ट कल्पा में आपने क्या क्या किया कर्मा, तो उसके प्रकार से आपको बॉडी मिल जाती है. उस प्रकार से द सोल एंटर्स, एंड बिकॉज द माइंड इंटेलिजेंस ईगो, द थ्री मोड्स ऑफ मटेरियल नेचर, अ पर्टिकुलर बॉडी इज क्रिएटेड बाय द मिक्सिंग ऑफ अर्थ, वाटर, फायर एंड ईथर, एंड दैट पर्सन गेट्स अ फॉर्म. एंड देन in any of those brahmandas that are created by the pores of Mahavishnu, that person enters into that brahmanda. According to his karmas, he enters. So this is how the whole, this material manifestation happens. Then the second, this is in Brahmanda. Then the second creation takes place, when Mahavishnu enters into each Brahmanda as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So he's lying as Garbha in the Garbha ocean, and from his navel comes a lotus. And on that lotus, Brahma is born. And then Brahma is seeing everything dark around him. He doesn't know what to do. Everything dark. Then he goes up and down on the lotus, and then he sees Mahavishnu lying there sleeping in Yoga Nidra. Doesn't know what to do. So he goes back, and he also sits in Yoga Nidra, because he sees Mahavishnu sitting in Yoga Nidra. He's sleeping nicely. Not sorry, Garbhodakshai Vishnu. He's in Yoga Nidra. So he also goes back and he imitates. He thinks that even I'll sit in Yoga Nidra, so even I'll come to know something. So when he sits in Yoga Nidra, then what happens? Then what happens? Then he hears Krishna's flute. From that flute, what does he hear? Klim Kamadevaye Vidmahe Pushpa Bhanaya Dhimahi Tanno Nanga Prachodayat. He hears this. Then he understands that this means this is the mother of all the Vedic knowledge. This shloka is the mother of all the Vedas. This Gayatri, which he hears from the flute of Krishna, that is the seed. That is the seed of the Vedas. The mantra is the seed of all the Vedas. It's called the mother of the. Mother is what? Mother is, obviously seed is the Krishna and the mother is the womb. So this mantra has all the Vedas inside it. Like the womb of a mother has, a child inside. So this mantra has all the Vedic knowledge inside. So with that Vedic knowledge, Brahma understand creation. He has to create. Tapa, tapa, tapa is then creation. Then he start to create, the 14 planet system on the, on this lotus, the stem of this lotus. All the 14 planet system are created. Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam. He hears all the four Gayatris, So all the four Gayatri, actually there are 5 Gayatris, but he hears even the Guru Gayatri maybe. He hears the Brahma Gayatri, that is Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, then the Gopal Gayatri, then the Gaur Gayatri, then the Guru Gayatri, and then finally the Brahma Gayatri. So with this Brahma Gayatri is that for the creation. This Kama Gayatri is for entering the Vaikuntha planets. So not Vaikuntha, so Golok Vrindavan. Gopal Gayatri is entering the Vaikuntha planets or Mathura and Dwarka. Then you need Gaur Gayatri is for entering the Sweta Deep. Guru Gayatri is the more important because of which you realize the Kama Gayatri, the Gopal Gayatri and the Gaur Gayatri. But for the material creation, it is Brahma Gayatri. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam. So then you understand, okay, he has to create it this way. Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Bhu Bhuva Swaha. Swargalok, Bhulok, Bhumandal, Bhulok, Bhuvarlok, and Swargalok. And then uske niche, Atala Patala Tatala, all those Bilva Swarga, and below that all the hellish planets. So all that creation takes place. And then the 84 lakh species who have entered the Brahmandas, they are put into like living, in the womb of, Manu and the first Manu, who, when the day starts, and his wife. So, those are given. So then, there's a new creation takes place. All the 84 lakh species are put into motion at the same time. Not the Darwin's theory that one after the other we come. No, we come. All the 84 lakh species are simultaneously put into this material world. Not that, we start from the aquatics and then come that Darwin's devolution, not evolution. So we are put into this way, and then the cycle of birth, death, old age, disease starts. Fruitive activities, then comes the fruitive activity. So we are put, this is material creation, material manifestation, which Arjuna asked, we explained. Then what happens? Then fruitive activity starts. So you do some karma, you get that, you get action. You do good karma, you go to Swarga. Bad karma, you go to Narga. Or you go to, the 84 lakh species. So mode of goodness karoge to Swarglok jaoge. Mode of passion karoge to Bhumandal mein rahoge. Bhumandal mein, or it, what do you say? Bhumandal or Nargalok. And mode of ignorance, animal species mein chale jaoge. So like that, you are trapped in this cycle of birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death. So what will liberate you from this? What will liberate you from this? Now says, bhakti to what? Bhakti to this Brahman, the energy of the Lord. You can enter the sun planet only through the sun's rays, sun's energy. Can you enter the sun globe without the sun energy? Without the heat and the light and the rays? No, you can't, right? So that's why Arjuna is asking, what is this Brahman? Because everyone has to enter that Brahman, the person serving. That is the reason why Brahman actually refers to Srimati Radharani, because it is golden in color, Brahma Jyoti. And Krishna's body is bluish in color. So the rays that comes out from Krishna's body will be bluish in color, not goldenish color. But the rays that comes out from Srimati Radharani's body is goldenish in color. So this Brahma Jyoti actually is the, the effulgence of Srimati Radharani. That's why, and this is the reason why self, nature, आया समझ में आप? ब्रह्म ज्योति की लाइट, हीट और लाइट क्या होगी? अगर मैं ब्रह्म ज्योति हूं और मेरी हीट और लाइट होगी तो वो मेरा सेल्फ होगा, राइट? That is my self. So the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman. That is Srimati Radharani. And her eternal nature, unka nature kya hai? Heat and light. That is the self. So, what is Brahma Jyoti made up of? The living entities, the soul, Jivatma, Jiva Tattva. The Brahma Jyoti is made up of Jiva Tattva. So, we are the self of Srimati Radharani, the Brahman. This is why Krishna explains here. Understood the inner meaning? Huh? Understood the inner meaning? आया समझ में? कितनों को समझ में आया अभी तक और कितनों को नहीं आया? अभिषेक को यस 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 ओके लिटिल अंडरस्टूड यस यस गॉट इट गुरुजी. किसको लिटिल आया समझ में? नंदन को हाँ वो ignore him. He just wants to pay, invite attention. सबसे अलग बोलो तो लोग मुझे देखेंगे. क्या समझ में नहीं आया अभी तक? ये बताओ. पहले ये कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो, उसके बाद में आगे जाएंगे. Krishna, we'll start from beginning. Okay. Krishna, Arjun asked, what is Brahman, what is self, what is karmas, what is material world, material manifestation, and what is demigods, Shivata. So, Brahman, I explained what is Brahman because Krishna and he's called here as Purushottama, so he cannot be Brahman. So, what is Brahman? Brahman is transcendental living entity. That is, the energy of the Lord. Brahman is the energy of the Lord. So, what is the energy of the Lord? Srimati Radharani is the energy of the primary energy of the Lord. Srimati Radharani. So, that is actually the Brahman, Brahma Jyoti. Okay, that is the Brahman. Why Acharya Jiva Goswami in his Bhakti Sandarbha and in Krishna Sandarbha, describes that actually Krishna's body is bluish. So, if Krishna emanates rays from his body, that rays will be bluish in color, not golden in color. So, this Brahma Jyoti actually is the rays from Srimati Radharani. And it makes sense. Why? Because the Brahman is what? The energy of the Lord. Right? And Srimati Radharani is the energy of the Lord. And she is goldenish color. So, the effulgence that comes out from her body will be goldenish in color. It makes sense or no? Huh? Does it make sense or no? And we are, and what are we? The soul is the spiritual spark of that Brahman. The soul is the spiritual spark of that Brahman. So actually, Jiva Tattva is a spiritual spark of the Shakti Tattva. Energy. And we are in the spiritual spark. So that is why it is said that this Brahman is that transcendental living entity. That means Srimati Radharani, jinka self, jinka jo nature hai, her eternal nature is the self. Means hum, self means hum, eternal nature. So sun ka nature kya hota hai? Light and heat. To spread light and heat. So light and heat is that nature, of Srimati Radharani. So that nature is us, the living entities. And in that sense also, जो ब्रह्म ज्योति के जो किससे बनी हुई होती ब्रह्म ज्योति किससे बनी हुई होती सोल से. ब्रह्म ज्योति is made up of all the living entities. So when all the living entities together combine, it becomes Brahma Jyoti of the Lord. So Brahma Jyoti is a spiritual spark. We all are part in that Brahma Jyoti. So that's why we are the self of that Brahman. We are the self of Srimati Radharani. And to go back home, who are trapped in this material world, in this matter. Maya. That's why, because that's why Srimati Radharani only, expands as Adi Durga, Durga, expands as Durga, and, sees to it that, we become again, we go back home, back to Godhead again. Devi Ishikun Mam Maya Duratya. Krishna says this Devi Maya is my Maya, which is, keeping the living entity in the material world, and when they are perfect, she releases them, because obviously, like a mother, a father is not bothered about the child. If child goes anywhere, father will call once in a week or once in a day, but mother will be thinking always 24 hours. मेरे बच्चे का क्या हुआ, मेरे बच्चे का क्या हुआ. So when we are separated and when we enter the material world, like I explained, this material world, how it is created and all, we enter. So because of Srimati Radharani, she cannot interact with Maya in the material world, because she's spiritual. So she transforms, she expands to Yoga Maya, who expands further to Mahamaya. And, the whole material creation is what? Inside the womb of Mahamaya. What is the whole material creation? It's inside the womb of Mahamaya. Right? This, what is the material world? Durga. And who is the person governing, taking care of the Durga? Durga, Mahamaya. So the whole material world is under the, she's the superintendent, under the glance or under the control of Mahamaya. Like a mother, she is, looking after us here, Srimati Radharani, as Mahamaya. But simultaneously, she also, wants us to go back home, back to Godhead, not to be stuck up here. So what does she do? Birth, death, old age disease, birth, death, old age disease. Then Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik Kleshas she gives us. By that we realize that just going to heaven, Swarga and Narga or here is not the end. We become frustrated of this material world. Like a mother, always wants the son to respect her father. Right? So if the son is not respectable, what will the mother do? What will the mother do if the son is not respecting her father? Or the daughter is not respecting, what will the mother do? Thrash, ek do jhapad dengi, punish karengi, maregi, punish. So the Adhyatmik, Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik Kleshas are those chastisement of Mahamaya to make us understand that this material world is not the place to be with. Then we realize, over the period, बार बार, ₹1 का circus का हमको चाबुक जब पड़ता है, we realize that the material world is not the place for us to be. Then what happens? Ant kale cha mam evam. When we come to the understanding that, we have to go to Krishna. So then ant kale cha mam evam. Smaram muktava kalevaram. Ya prayati sa madbhut bhuvam. Yati nishtatra samyashaha. And whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me, at once attain my nature. My nature. कृष्णा का नेचर क्या है? कृष्णा का नेचर क्या है? नेचर, हाँ, that is सच्चिदानंद है, हम भी सच्चिदानंद ही है, बट कृष्णा का नेचर क्या है? Spiritual and those are characteristics. Nature क्या होता है? Nature. Those are all qualities and characteristics of Krishna. But what is the nature? These are qualities of Krishna. Naughty, all these. Spiritual. What is spiritual made up of? Samvet, Haladini, Sandhini Shaktis. So what is the nature of Krishna? Eternal nature of Krishna is Samvet, Sandhini, Haladini. And we are basically under Haladini. So it will attain. So Sakya Bhav will attain the Samvet nature, like that, And Madhurya Bhav will attain the Madhurya nature. What is that nature? Will attain my nature. Means will attain the service of Srimati Radharani in Golok Vrindavan, Haladini Shakti. Attain that. Of this, there is no doubt. So now you understood how every shloka of Bhagavad Gita is connected to Srimati Radharani. मालूम पड़ा? Every shloka of Bhagavad Gita you can relate to Srimati Radharani. Because that divine nature of mine, divine मेरा nature मतलब मेरे से different है. Nature मतलब मेरा ही nature लेकिन मुझसे different है. Right? So what is different from Srimati Radharani, from Krishna? His Shaktis, his primary Shaktis too. Balram and Radharani. So Balram is for Dasya Sakhya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, and Madhurya Ras. Srimati Radharani is that nature. So this is how, this is why it is said, whoever at the time of death quits his body remembering me will attain my nature. Will not attain me. Krishna ne bolte will attain me. क्या बोलते हैं कृष्णा? At once attain my nature. Can you put it, go it down? Shloka number 5. Why Krishna is not saying it will attain me? Why my nature? That means Krishna is distinguishing between himself and his nature. And what is Krishna's nature? Samve Sandani Aladani. So he'll attain that. And then Krishna says after this shloka, Yam Yam Vapi Smaranam. Yam Yam Vapi Smaranam. Whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits his body, attains that. So if you are remembering in Sakhya Ras, in Dasya Ras, you attain that. Then if you're remembering in Sakhya, you attain that. In Vatsalya, you attain that. In Madhurya, you attain that. Whatever you remember at the time of quitting the body, you attain that. So that has to be, obviously, we have to practice that. We have to practice both the, how to attain that nature, that spiritual, our spiritual form. We have to realize that. Then only we can get that, right? If you don't know what you are in Golok Vrindavan, how will you go there? What will you do there? How will you reach there? So we have to practice sadhana bhakti. We have to do sadhana of it. Vedi bhakti and Raganuga bhakti is there. So by Vedi bhakti, by external bhakti, Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami describes that we have to chant Shravan Kirtan Smaran Pad Sevanam Archana Mandasyam Atma Nivedanam. This is how you realize your Swarup. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabo Noy. Shravan Adi Suddha Chitte Karo Udaya. Shravan Adi. What is this Adi? Shravan Kirtan Smaran Pad Sevanam Archana Mandasyam Atma Nivedanam. Sakhyam Dasyam Atma Nivedanam. So you have to hear about Krishna's Nam Gun Rup Leela. Whole life practice this. Hearing Krishna's name, Nam, Gun, qualities, Rup, form, Leela, activities, pastimes, Dham, paraphernalia, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, they all come in paraphernalia of Krishna. So when we say Krishna, we mean everything. Whole Vaikuntha, whole Golok Vrindavan. So we have to hear about that. Then only we'll attain Krishna's nature. Because then we'll be able to remember that at the time of death. Otherwise, death is very painful. You can't remember anything at the time of death. If you are not spiritually awakened, enlightened, then you remember all material things. You attain, as your karma, you'll go to the hellish planets, or you go to the heavenly planets, or you'll go to animal species, or you'll be in this Bhumandala only, somewhere in this Bhumandala. You'll be, if you don't remember Krishna, if you are not spiritually inclined or elevated or enlightened, you'll think. But if we understand that we don't belong to the material world, we are Krishna's part and parcel. We have just become trapped in this material world, this material loop, this loop, again repeating itself. Birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death, old age. This loop is there, going on and on. So we are trapped in this loop. So when we realize that, the only way to go to my real home, back home, back to God, that is to get out of this loop of birth, death, old age, disease. And how to do that? You need someone from outside to take you out from this loop. So that outside force is Guru, spiritual master. He comes and trains you, how to get out of this loop. So he gives you a sadhana, a process by which you can get out of this loop of birth, death, old age, disease. That sadhana is Shravan Kirtan, hearing about Krishna's Nam Gun Rup Leela, then Kirtan, then chanting about Krishna's Nam Gun Rup Leela. Dham. His names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shravan Kirtan, Smaran, remembering Krishna's Nam, Gun, Rup, Leela. Remembering Krishna's Nam. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. This is the basic rule. So remembering Krishna's Nam, Gun, Krishna's qualities. In teaching of Lord Chaitanya, I had told about Krishna's qualities, the qualities of Krishna. You remember that, those qualities, and Krishna's qualities, Krishna's flute, Krishna's, all these things, they act as impetus, udipan, stimulus to remember Krishna. You'll be able to remember Krishna. Krishna thoughts will be there in your mind when you, know about Krishna's Nam, Guna, Rup, Leela. So, you hear more and more and more, whatever we see, our senses see, inputs that are given to our senses, eyes, nose, ears, everything. So that forms impression on our consciousness. So we remember them, we recollect them. When we, like, if you go to a movie, if you go to any movie, what will happen? What happens? You come back. If that movie is really good, so impressions, the character of in that movie, the hero, the heroine, everything, they form an impression in your mind, and you are, for some time, you are in that mood only. You go, Bahubali, you feel that you are Bahubali, like that. Even you can lift the Shiva Lingam on your, you feel right. People went to Bahubali, he lifted the Shiva Lingam. So everyone, had these, reels and everywhere, lifting the Shiva Lingam, like that, So they all were thinking they are Bahubali. So that is what it forms impression in our consciousness. Smaranam, we recollect them, they form impression. So when we hear more and more and more about Krishna, Shravan Kirtan, hear and chant about Krishna, then impressions are formed in our consciousness. Smaran, we recollect, we think about that, about Krishna. So Smaran Kirtan, Smaranam, these are very most important aspect of bhakti. Shravan Kirtan is done in Vedic Bhakti and Smaran is done in Raganuga Bhakti. So both ways, internally, externally, you do, Path Sevanam. Path Sevanam means serving the Lord. Archanam Vandanam. Archanam means, prayers to the Lord. Vandanam means offering arti to the Lord. Archanam means prayers. Arti to the Lord. Vandanam means offering prayers to the Lord. Then becoming a friend of the Lord. Then again friend, and Dasyam. This is again Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti. And offering everything is also Raganuga Bhakti. So this has both these Shravan Kirtans, one Path Sevanam, it has both Vedic Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Parts of Vedic Bhakti and some parts of Raganuga Bhakti. So we have to perform all these, or any one of these items, even if you are just chanting and hearing about, that also leads to Smaran recollecting everything, automatically that it will happen. All the remaining 7 will happen automatically if you just focus on Shravan Kirtan. So either you just focus on Shravan Kirtan completely and rest will follow, or you focus on any, on all the nine. So that is the practice which the Guru teaches you. Then, then you realize that, okay, you're not this body, you're spirit soul. You realize as you do the Shravan Kirtan Smaran, your consciousness, your Cheto Darpanam Marjanam happens. Your consciousness become more and more purified. All the material contamination. You get free from all the futile activities. Your karma in the material world. Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Pita, Maam Ekam Sharanam Raja. Maam Ekam Sharanam. If you surrender to that devotee, pure devotee, surrender to that, then all your, bad karmas will be relieved from, finished off. And you'll get moksha, means you'll come to Golok Vrindavan. And so all your, impressions and everything of so many lifetimes and everything, they get destroyed in the fire of bhakti. By the fire of bhakti, like in the forest fire, everything is destroyed to ashes, raised down to ashes. Similarly, all your karmas, bad karmas, good karmas, everything is burned to ashes in the bhakti fire. And then what happens? When all your, clothes, everything, whatever is, binding in the material world, that is shed off, then you are what you really are. In the material world, we come and we wear so many things, but, when we go or when we are not wearing anything, then we know what we really are, our real self. Similarly, our soul, we realize when we shed all our karmas, all the, the 3 modes of material nature, everything, when we are free from, liberated from these things, Brahm Bhuta Prasanna Atma na Sochati na Kanchati. When we are on the stage of no lamentation, no happiness, nothing, that stage bhakti starts. So this stage of realizing who you are, at least, first, theoretically, then you, when all the Chetu Darpana Marjan happens, Shravan Kirtan, you do Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem start arising in your heart. When you realize who you are, like I told yesterday, at the stage of Ruchi Asakti, you realize your Sarup. Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yuga Junjan Madashraya. Maya Sakta Mana Partha. So at this stage of Asakti, you realize who you are. You become so Asaktu Krishna, and that you realize that Nitya Siddha Savanadi Siddha Karo Uday. Uday, your Sarup will Uday. That, you are in Dasyaras, you are in Sakhyaras, you are in Vatsalyaras, you are in Madhuryaras. So then, as Uday, so then you will want to attain that stage only. Because, you realize, I am Sakha of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. So you'll start meditating on that. And as you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare, automatically all the pastimes related to Sakhyaras will play in front of your eyes like PPT we play, moving PPT, or a television, one reel after the other it plays like that, and you'll be able to do Leela Pravesh, and you will enter into that pastime and serve Krishna. So when you leave your body, material body, you will attain that nature. That nature. What nature? In that bhava, you will attain that nature of your, that nature has 2 meanings. You will become a, the original nature is Srimati Radharani and or Balram or whatever, that nature will attain. Means their service you will attain there. Attain that service there. You attain the Ekdas, what is your name, your naam, your gun, what is your naam, your age, everything will be revealed to you. That is your nature, real nature. You attain that nature. So, therefore, Krishna says, think of me always. Become my devotee. Only then you will come to me. So then you will realize by this Smaranam, thinking of me, becoming a devotee, serving me, you will realize who you are, and then you will come to me without fail. So in that state of realization, when you quit your body, realization that who you are, when you quit your body, in that state you will attain without fail, Krishna says. Yam yam vapi smaranam. That state you will attain without fail. Whatever state of being you remember, whatever state Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, whatever state is there, or Vaikuntha, Goloka, Vishnu, Ram, whatever state you want, you will, you will attain. You will, if you remember that because of your sadhana, you will attain that state. There is no doubt about that. So, what is the time? 7. Okay. So we will end now. So now you can start your asking your questions. So you understood these 6 slokas, very important sloka. It starts from Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva, Shiva Tattva. Demigods. What are demigods also? So demigods are just they're given management in the material world. They're giving management in the material world and they manage the material world. That is demigod. And the internal meaning of this is Adi Deva, means Shiva Tattva. What is Shiva Tattva? Like I said, Mahavishnu and material nature. Mahatattva. Mahatattva is matter, material nature. That is Mahamaya, under Mahamaya. So Mahavishnu doesn't interact with Mahamaya directly because Vishnu doesn't interact with Durga. Vishnu interacts only with Lakshmi, not with Durga. Mahamaya is Durga. So who interacts with Durga? Shiva. So that glance which carries the soul into the material world, into this Mahatattva is Shiva. Auspiciousness. Auspicious. Why it is auspicious? Why it is Shiva? Because once you enter the material world, you're re-engineering, you're reforming to go back home, back to Godhead. So you're right now lying in Mahavishnu's body. So in Mahavishnu's body, you can't go back home, back to Godhead, to Vaikuntha Globe. So coming out of Mahavishnu's body and entering into the material nature will give you a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. That's why that glance is called Shiva, the auspicious glance, because it is auspicious for the living entities, because they get a chance to again go back home, back to Godhead. So Shiva is that vehicle. Shiva is that vehicle which helps you go back home, back to Krishna. That's why it is called Vaishnavata Shambhu. The topmost Vaishnava is Shambhu, because he is that vehicle which carries all the living entities into the womb of Maya. And there the living entities, by the thrash of Maya, Adhyatmik, Adhyavik, Adibhautik kleshas, realize that they have to go, that this material world is not their real home. That is auspicious and that is created for them. And because, and then they can go back home, back to Godhead, to Vaikuntha Lok again. So understood all the 5 tattvas. What is Shiva Tattva, what is Shakti Tattva, what is Jiva Tattva, and what is Vishnu Tattva or Krishna Tattva. So now we can have question tattvas. Okay. So how many are for the first time they are attending? Samaj, you can remove this screensaver and we'll take the questions then. How many are for the first time? Nobody here for the first time. Very good. Question come on, what do you say? Okay, first time, okay. Deepanshu, okay. So how did you like the session, Deepanshu? You can come online and ask question. Chat mein kahan pe? Chat mein question goes up. So either someone has to keep the count of the question. If someone can come, Samarth or someone can come and they can ask the question. One person can come and ask the question. I will answer. Yeah. Why you want to end the YouTube? You don't want the questions to be on the YouTube? Who can come? Anyone here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So yeah, Samarth is here. So you can ask. Anyone has question, they can put. Samarth will ask, or send Samarth the question direct. Then he'll ask. Start.
Samta Mataji is asking, Prabhuji, please explain Sanvit, Sandani, and Aladani nature.
Yeah, Samvit, Sandani, and Aradhani are the three energies of the Lord Krishna. Krishna's spiritual energy is made up of Samvit, Sandani, and Aradhani. So this Sandani is the existent, it create the existence energy, and Samvit is the knowledge energy, Satchid Ananda, existent knowledge and pleasure, and Haladani is the pleasure potency. So Lord Balram is a expansion of the Sandani Shakti, and Srimati Radharani is the expansion of the Haladani Shakti of the Lord. Because Lord, we and our energy cannot take any other, our energy cannot take a form. But Krishna is omnipotent, omniscient. So his energies also can take a form. His nature can take a form. His qualities can take a form. Everything about, whatever Krishna wants, it can take a form. That's why Krishna's energy, the Haladini potency, is manifested or takes the form of Srimati Radharani. It is Radharani personified, and Sandani Shakti is Balram personified. Yeah. Next.
Vinayak Prabhuji is asking, Guruji, what is Shiva's purpose and duties?
Like I said, Shiva is that vehicle from which the soul can enter the womb of Maya. And without Shiva, you'll always remain in Mahavishnu's body. So you will not get a chance to get liberation. Because Mahavishnu cannot interact with Maya, with Durga. Because Mahavishnu is spiritual. Spiritual cannot interact with matter. So intermediate jo hota hai na, Shiva is that, that link, that container which carries all the living entities and takes it, into the, womb of Mahamaya. And there the living entities grow into different 84 species of, and then they come to human form, and then they are beaten by the Adhyatmik Adibhautik Kleshas, that is put by Mahamaya to make them realize Krishna, because she is a devotee of Krishna. Mahamaya is also a devotee of Krishna. She is not a devotee of Shiva. She is a wife of Shiva, but a devotee of Krishna. And so she wants all the living entities to go back home, back to Krishna. So she creates frustration in the living entity, so that trapped in Maya, so that he goes, he realizes that this is not a real home, and then he wants to take up to the process of bhakti yoga. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja am tvam sarvapapebhyo. So he gives up everything and just surrenders to Krishna, and then all his papas, all his karmas that are holding him back to the material world is finished off by Krishna, and then he is given moksha, means liberation or freedom from this material nature, the womb of Maya, and he can go back home, back to Godhead. So from Vishnu directly you can't go to Golok Vrindavan. You need a vehicle to enter the nature, because material nature, in that you will transform yourself, and then you can go back home, back to Godhead. So Shiva is that. Understood? Yeah, next.
Nandan Prabhuji is asking, Prabhuji, if we are following Prabhupada, then we should not think of becoming Gopi.
Yeah, no, everyone is Gopi only. I mean, when Yashoda is a Gopi, so you have to become a Manjari. Gopis are of two types. Basically, three types of Gopis are there: elder Gopi, the Sakhis, and the Manjaris. So we should not think of becoming the Sakhis. Obviously, elder Gopi you can become in Vatsalya Ras, but to become a Sakhi means you have to, compete with Srimati Radharani. So you should always think of becoming a Manjari, a maid servant of Srimati Radharani, a Palya Dasi, of Srimati Radharani, who just wants to serve Srimati Radharani, nothing else. Serve Radharani and Krishna. You should meditate to become that. Yeah, next.
Abhishek Prabhuji is asking, Prabhuji, if we have a permanent form in the spiritual world, then why do we want to change it?
We don't have a in the material world we have forgotten that form, so not changing it. We don't change that form. We only revive that form. That form we revive. Basically, in Shantaras is those people who want to go to Dasya Sakya, but those who are in Sakya, Dasya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, they don't want to change. Like Hanuman doesn't want to change his Dasya bhav to Ram and become, and go to any other bhav. He's satisfied because in all the bhavas, one is Atma Ram. He's self-satisfied. But those in Shantaras, they want to interact with Krishna more intimately. So they are the one who change their rasa. And that's Thai bhav we'll realize when we chant more and more. Yeah.
Kalpesh Prabhuji is asking, Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam Guruji. Guruji, गृहस्थ होकर भी गोलोक जा सकते हैं. अर्जुन तो गृहस्थ थे तो सब सन्यासी क्यों बन रहे हैं? संसार छोड़ देने से ही कृष्णा मिलेंगे क्या?
ये किसने बोला? This is a misconception. Bhakti is not dependent on sannyas, brahmachari all. You become brahmachari to preach, to spread the message, not to go back home back to Gauranga. ब्रह्मचारी बनने से आप गोलोक नहीं मिलेगा, सन्यासी बनने से गोलोक नहीं मिलेगा. वो एक है व्यवस्था है, वर्ण व्यवस्था है कि आप वॉलंटरीली रिटायर हो जाते हो अपने फैमिली लाइफ से कि आप प्रचार में लग सको. भगवान का प्रचार भी कोई करने के लिए चाहिए ना. यदि अगर हम प्रचार नहीं करेंगे तो आपको नॉलेज कैसे मिलेगा? नॉलेज नहीं मिलेगा तो आप भगवान के पास कैसे जाओगे? तो दैट इज प्रचार का एक व्हीकल. ब्रह्मचारी एंड संन्यास इज अ प्रचार व्हीकल by which you can do prachar. But to go back home, back to Gauranga, even a grasta can go. Prabhupada was a grasta half his life. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a grasta whole life. So Arjun was a grasta. Everyone, you see, so many pure devotees. Prahlad Maharaj was a grasta. Dhruv Maharaj was a grasta. So bhakti is not dependent on grasta, vanapras, sannyas, or brahmacharya. And those are varna vyavastha to perform a particular activity. So if you want to preach in a family life, you can't preach 24 hours. You have to take care of your family, children, everyone, earning everything. You can't preach. So you voluntarily retire to preach the message of Krishna to everyone. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam to everyone. That is a vehicle to preach. Not that it is not the end, just a means to spread Krishna consciousness, not the end to reach Golok Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. Yeah, next. Anyone has more questions?
Yes,
Here,
Prabhuji
everyone has so many questions. Here, no one.
Yash Prabhuji is asking, Prabhuji, the verse Yam Yam Vapam Smaranam Bhavam, related to this, if one think of dead material things, then what will be his next life?
If one think of
Dead material things.
dead material thing, he'll go to Pittalok, Bhutalok, Pittalok, Pretlok, that Pittalok, he'll go there. Where the dead lives, he'll go to that loka. If he thinks of matter, he'll become a worm or anything in that matter. Like if you think too much of your, your Godrej ka, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, जहाँ पैसे रखते हैं उसको, तिजोरी, then you become an ant in that tijori and you can enjoy your money there. Next.
Vinayak Prabhuji is asking, so people who are worshipping Durga Devi, they get more Maya and stay in this suffering world longer.
Yeah, I mean, if you worship Durga, means you're worshipping because of material disease. Just some material enjoyment. You want something material. You're worshipping her. Because she's saying worship Krishna. Govinda Madhe Pusham. So if you don't listen to her and then worship her, then you get more and more entangled in the material world. By worshipping Durga, you can't go to Golok Vrindavan. You have to worship Krishna to go. ये था मां प्रपद्यन्ते माया तिताम तरंदिते. If you surrender to me, then Maya will leave you. If you surrender to Maya, Maya will not leave you. Maya will trap you more. Next.
Nandan Prabhuji is asking, if we are thinking of Manjari and by mistakenly, if we think of becoming younger Gopi, then can we again change it because we don't want to compete with Radharani?
Well, it's not like that. You become you become perfect. You realize your perfect Swarup. That realization comes after Ananta Nivriti. When you're completely Nishtha, you know what you want. You're no in Nishtha, you're not in any confusion. Right now, you're in confusion because you're in Ananta Nivriti stage. So where you want, what you want, you don't know. As you chant more and more and more and more, your consciousness gets purified more and more. Shira Darpanam happens more and more. When your consciousness becomes stable, Nishtha is stable bhakti, then you will know what you really want. And then you'll aspire for that. Then you will not make a mistake. You make mistake when you are in another nivritti stage. You make mistakes because you have many anarthas. Once you're free from anarthas, your bad qualities, your bad habits, everything, you are pure. Become very again, completely purified of all kam, krodh, lobh, anger, greed, envy, lust, dhanam, janam, sundari, karma, and jnana. You become free from all this entanglement. Then your buddhi is, vyavasatmika buddhi. It is, stable buddhi. That stable buddhi, you know what you really want, what you really desire. You don't make mistake then. You make mistake right now because you are not perfectly purified right now. So you reach that stage, no duality will remain. You know what to do. And then you'll follow that particular sadhana, that particular mood, and then you realize that mood. And then you'll go back home, back to Godhead, and you'll attain that body for that mood and serve Radha and Krishna in Golok Vrindavan with that body in that particular mood, doing that particular seva. Understood?
Someone from YouTube has asked, universes came out of Mahavishnu pores, isn't it? Then how he is glancing to soul into material world?
Yeah, Brahmandas came, and then through the glance, he is putting those living entities into that Brahmanda. Brahmanda to empty the, creation. So he is glancing those living entities into those Brahmandas. And then Garbhodaksha Vishnu enters and Brahma is born, and then Brahma, puts into motion all those living entities according to their previous desires, karmas, give them they attain a particular body and they take birth in that body there. Understood?
Vinayak Prabhuji is asking, Guruji, is there even one book in temple which is unedited?
Unedited where? Which, in our ISKCON temple. In ISKCON Bangalore, Bhagavad Gita is unedited only. But in ISKCON Mumbai and all, it's edited only.
Mallikarjun Prabhuji is asking, Prabhuji, are goodness, passion and ignorance perverted reflection of pure goodness?
Yeah. Pure goodness, like gold, becomes iron, perverted reflection iron. Similarly, pure love becomes lust in the material world. Similarly, pure goodness becomes material, three modes of material nature, right? Goodness, passion, ignorance.
Next, Ankit Prabhuji is asking, Prabhuji, in Krishna book there is one line that a pure devotee of Lord Krishna never desires to be promoted to heavenly planets or even to Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan because he has no desire for his own personal satisfaction. So
Yeah.
if devotees go back home to Godhead, so is going to Vaikuntha a personal satisfaction?
No, Prabhupada, someone asked this question to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, a pure devotee doesn't go, what to do? Prabhupada said, someone said, Prabhupada, I don't want to go back to God, I want to serve you. And this mission, birth after birth after birth here. Prabhupada said, no, better you go, that I will do it. Because we are prone to fall down. We can fall down anytime if we remain in the material world. So we have to understand, we are not Nitya Siddha devotees, we are Nitya Baddha devotees. So Nitya Siddha devotee has this consciousness that he doesn't want to go back home, back to Godhead. He just wants to serve Krishna and take all the living entities from here back home, back to Godhead. Till all the living entities are, purified and reach their home, a pure devotee not satisfied. So he wants to remain here. But we are small, we are छोटे बच्चे हैं भक्ति में. Obviously we can have desire to serve, but Prabhupada said practical is you go back home, back to Godhead, because material nature is not safe. Bharat Maharaj on the stage of Bhava, he fell down. So anytime we can, fall down in the material world. So the safest place is the spiritual world, serving Krishna. So better go there. And Prabhuji, your session is going on. Many coordinators are active in Instagram. Who is active in Instagram? उनका list बना और उनको group से निकाल दो, coordinator group से. Then they'll realize that it is important to be in the session. Next question.
Yes, Yash Prabhuji is asking, if we chant while removing weeds in the farm, then will it be offense of doing sins on the strength of holy name?
If we remove the weeds in the
remove weeds in farm.
Farm क्या होता है?
Farm.
Farm means you remove the weed from the weed bag.
No, not weeds. Weeds.
Weeds. Oh, can you weeds from farm? So what to do in that? I didn't understand the question only.
If he is chanting during that time, then is it offense to holy name?
Yeah, obviously, you do anything else other than chanting the holy name, when you have to chant the holy name, that is offense only. It's an offense. Yeah, next.
Nandan Prabhuji is asking, Mahavishnu does all the activities while sleeping.
Yeah, he is lying on the Karno Daksha ocean, Karno ocean. He's lying there. He is in Yog Nidra. He's always thinking of Krishna, expansion of Krishna, Sankarshan. Always thinking of Sankarshan, meditating on Sankarshan.
Yes, Prabhuji is asking next. Prabhuji, back then you told that one should not find his guru, but guru will find a disciple. But Bhagavad Gita 4.34 says that approach a spiritual master and inquire from him submissively. So how to understand this?
Who is asking this question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. So pray to Krishna, Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasado. Actually, you by the mercy of Guru you get Krishna, but by the mercy of Krishna you get Guru. So first pray to Krishna. Krishna will send Guru, because Guru is an external manifestation of Paramatma. And then you go to the Guru and ask him questions. So first let Krishna guide you, tell you who is the Guru. And then you approach that Guru and ask questions. Otherwise you'll be cheated, because there are many cheaters out there who cheat you. So if by our own strength, without asking or surrendering to Krishna, if you just search for Guru, then you'll be cheated without knowledge. So pray to Krishna, get knowledge, then Krishna will reveal, because Guru is just expansion of Krishna's only. So Krishna will reveal, and then you approach that Guru, and tad vidi pranipatena paripashtena sevaya. Pranipatena paripashtena sevaya. Surrender, ask question, and do seva. This is the process. Understood? Yes. Yeah, next.
Ganesh Prabhuji is asking, Prabhuji, if cows are very much dear to Lord Krishna, then why they are suffering now due to lumpy disease?
Cows are, those are Surbi cows, spiritual cows. They come when Krishna comes, they come from Golok Vrindavan. And the cows right now, even though they are all the demigods are there in the cow, but because of Kali Yuga, there's so much suffering. In Kali Yuga, everyone has to suffer. Because Kali Yuga by nature is age of quarrel and hypocrisy and suffering. Everything suffer. Just like Nandi is a devotee of the Lord, but every Nandi is not, Shiva's Nandi, right? You can't, नंदी के सामने जाओगे तो शिवा के कितने बड़े भक्त होगा, नंदी का मूड बिगड़ गया तो आपको सींग मार के वहीं घिरा देगी. So, in Kali Yuga, the consciousness of all the living entities is very low. Obviously, every yuga it is, but in Kali Yuga it's very low. Yeah, next.
Himangi Mataji is asking, Prabhuji, when Kalki arrives, then is it end of conditioned souls in material world, or they are again transferred to other planets Kali Yuga?
No, other Kali Yuga, जहाँ पे Kali Yuga हो रहा है, वहाँ पे they take birth again. Not the end, they go again to the place, where, any other Brahmanda where Kali Yuga is going on, they are born there. Because he has to restart Satyuga, he comes and finishes all those demoniac souls that time. Next.
Malika Arjun Prabhuji is asking, Prabhuji, what to do if we fall down from bhakti?
That shloka is there, in Bhagavad Gita. Apichel durachar bhajate mam ananya bhag. Can anyone put that shloka in the share screen? Apichet durachar bhajate mam ananya bhag. Apichet durachar bhajate mam ananya bhag. Sadhu evacha. He is sadhu only. Even if one commits the most abnormal action, okay, this is action, this is not aprad. One has to differentiate between aprad and sinful action. Okay, aprad is Guru aprad, Vaishnav aprad, Nam aprad, Dham aprad, that is aprad. That is not this shloka is talking of. So this shloka is talking of abnormal action, means those actions which are considered sinful in the Shastra, like meat eating or intoxication or sex or gambling. These things, these four things, even if you break those things sometime, because material nature is very strong, you'll fall down many times. Everyone cannot. Arjun says, no, it is easy to control the wind than to control the mind. So mind takes you here and there everywhere. But the important is, you feel you get up again. If you get up again, he said, is properly situated. Means what? He again gets up. वो भक्ति छोड़ नहीं देता है. He falls down, doesn't leave bhakti. He comes back. He comes back. He fights back. He fights back. He fights back. He fights back. That does he does. He comes back, come back. So if you're coming back, you have to come back. बच्चा छोटा बच्चा होता है, बहुत बार गिरता है, लेकिन वो ये नहीं सोचता है ना गिरने के बाद कि मैं खड़ा नहीं हूँ. अगर खड़ा नहीं होगा तो वो हमेशा बैठे रहेगा, वो चल नहीं पाएगा. So everyone encourages him to get up and walk. And suddenly, after some time, he start walking nicely, running nicely, and similarly, we may fall down like the child, but we should get up again. And others should not judge us because of this fall down. If you start judging, then you commit. Then you are not following Krishna's this instruction. Where Krishna says, he is properly situated. That's why, many times people criticize, tell why Prabhupada allowed, all these people, they were following, they were doing all kinds of, illicit activity and all his disciples that time, in the 70s, hippies and all. Prabhupada allowed them to become, devotees, because Prabhupada said, that even if they are falling down because of their past impressions and karmas, but they are engaged in bhakti. So they will become rightly situated, they will become purified, and they will become good. Just like आप फुटबॉल खेलते हो बारिश के अंदर, तो कीचड़ लग जाता है पूरी बॉडी पे, तो कीचड़ में जब हम शावर के नीचे जाते हैं तो इट टेक्स टाइम फॉर द होल बॉडी टू बिकम क्लीन अगेन, कीचड़ रहता है. Similarly, our past impressions, our past habits, our past karmas, will make us fall down many times. But we should not bother about those things. We should get up again and again do bhakti. And others, unless someone is making a Vaishnava aparad, someone is making a Guru aparad, a Dham aparad, or a Nam aparad, others should not judge that person. बाकी कोई भी अपराध किया है, even Krishna forgives. So हम क्या हैं? Krishna says, even if one comes in, if he's engaged in devotional service, or if he wants to be engaged, or if he's doing, then he's to be considered saintly. उसको आपको saintly समझना पड़ेगा, because he is properly, he is chanting. आपके पास में दुनिया में सारे good qualities होंगे, but आप condemned हो. आपके अंदर सारे खराब क्वालिटी होंगे, आप डिवोटी हो, तो आप प्योरिफाइड हो जाओगे कभी ना कभी, और आप बैक टू वर्ड चले जाओगे. इसलिए उसके प्रति हमको अपराध नहीं करना चाहिए, वो वैष्णव अपराध हो जाएगा हम करेंगे तो. अंडरस्टूड? क्लियर हुआ? समझ में आया? तो दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन वैष्णव अपराध, गुरु अपराध, धाम अपराध, नाम अपराध, एंड अदर abominable activity like which we fall down due to. Yeah, next.
Vinayak Prabhuji is asking, Guruji, does it also happens we get a realization about something and then later we hear about the same?
Yeah, whatever while you're chanting, whatever realization you get, that should be confirmed by the Shastra, or it comes in front of you. Krishna reveals, okay, यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, यहाँ पे ऐसा है, correct. Yeah, next.
Nandan Prabhuji is asking, if Mahavishnu, he is always meditating, then how he glances?
How he glances? How does Krishna eat if he's always standing and in front of the bhoga, and he doesn't touch the bhoga? How does he eat? So he can glance. Mahavishnu can glance even by meditating. You think that Mahavishnu has material body like you, so because you don't understand spiritual consciousness, spiritual platform. On the spiritual platform, it is said in Brahma Samhita, and every what do you say, senses can perform the activity of other senses. Brahma Samhita, it says, right, that every sense can perform the activities of the other sense. So even while sleeping, he can glance, because he's Mahavishnu, he's not Nandan, right?
Next question. Sushma Mataji is asking, Prabhuji, cow body किसको मिलती है?
Well, if you from cow body, or from lion body, you can come to, or snake body, you can come to human body. But obviously, if you do some animal, no animal body in the material world is good. whether cow body or like it's not on the human platform. It is lower than the human platform. So it is not good in an animal, and especially if you're born in Kali Yuga in a cow body, you'll be slaughtered somewhere. So it is not good in Kali Yuga to have cow body or any body. Better a human body. Just because cows are devotees of God, of Krishna, doesn't mean you get a cow body. By that you won't become a devotee of Krishna. Not in Kali Yuga.
Next
Those cows
question.
of Krishna were, Surbi cows. Surbi Apibai, Govinda Madhya Pushaktam Bhajami. So they were Surbi, they were spiritual cows, not this material cow. Especially even the cow category, the A2 cows, they give A2 milk. Those cows are really better. Right? Every other cows are not, but still, we should protect the cows because Krishna protected the cows. So we should protect the cows. And they served Krishna, so we should protect with that mood, because we have to follow that mood of Krishna. Otherwise, any animal birth is not good, whether cow or goat or fish. Yeah. Next.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji is asking. Hanuman in the form of flag was situated on the top of chariot of Arjuna. So he also heard the Gita.
Yes, he also heard the Gita, whole Bhagavad Gita. Hanumanji heard the Gita, complete Gita.
Next question is from Vinayak Prabhuji. Guruji, there is a pastime that there was a fight between Lord Ram and Hanuman, where Lord Hanuman chanted Lord Ram's name and no astra was working on him. Is this a Valmiki Ramayana?
Yeah, it is there in Ramayana. It is there in Ramayana. It is Ram Nam Mahima. It is Ram Nam Mahima. Yeah, next.
Yes, Prabhuji is asking. Brahmana realization which impersonalists have is above three modes, or is it pure goodness, Suddha Sattva, as in spiritual world?
Yeah, it's pure Shuddha Sattva only because Brahman is Shuddha Sattva. So, but because there is no Ananda Brahman realization, so it is not complete. You will fall down again from that to the material world because Ananda is the thing that keeps us, going. Without Ananda, just like mango is sweet, knowledge hai. No, Samvit and Sandhani, because existence of mango is there. That is Sandhani or Samvit, and knowledge of mango is very sweet. But if you don't eat mango, don't realize, you will not realize how sweet mango is. That is Haladani, the pleasure of eating mango. So in Brahma Jyoti, there is no pleasure of serving or pleasure of any interaction with Krishna. Just Gyan and existence. So from there, no, because there is no Ananda there, you fall down again. You want to come back. Next.
Guruji, can we read Valmiki Ramayana? And if yes, then from where should we buy?
Valmiki Ramayana only you should read. Tulsida Ramayana is not authentic Ramayana. That is Ram Charitra Manas. Ram's Charitra. That is not Ramayana. So the Ramayana, real Ramayana is Valmiki Ramayana only. You should read Valmiki Ramayana only. It is available in ISKCON. There is Krishna Dharma Prabhu. He has written Ramayana. You can read his nice, very nicely written. Next.
Nandan Babuji is asking. Srila Prabhupada in one Bhagavad Gita lecture took example of Tulsidas. Why Srila Prabhupada took example of Tulsidas ji?
Example, what example? Example what?
Some example he took.
I don't know if you can elaborate more, clarify more, I don't know. Next.
Malika Arjun Prabhuji is asking, Prabhuji, if we are not interested in material knowledge, but for doing job for Krishna, we should gain that. But if we are not able to balance study and seva, then what to do?
If you're not able to balance study and
Seva.
you have to balance somehow. You have to understand that spiritual life is very important. So if you don't understand that, then you will never progress in spiritual life. Study is also important, but that is material. It's just like there's a cage and there's a parrot. So you are just taking care of the cage and not the parrot. So parrot will die after some time. Similarly, spiritually you'll be dead if you don't do seva, no bhakti, nothing. Just external material world, material life you'll do. Spiritually you'll be dead, frustrated. So that's why spiritual life is very important. It keeps us spiritually awakened. Seva keeps us spiritually awakened. We have to make that in the priority list. So I think now we'll end the YouTube session, right?